Hello my dear friends, once again good morning to all of you. So in the last video lecture session we discussed regarding the organizational structure, right? And in this particular video you learn about the difference between these structures, then what are the meaning of departmentation, what are the meaning of span of control. Okay, so this is the last video lecture regarding our chapter number 7. After this, our chapter number 7 regarding the PEM subject will complete. Okay, then our remaining two units regarding this PEM subject, that chapter number 8 and chapter number 9. Okay, so you should start learning regarding our subject, and if you find any query regarding the any chapter you can contact me anytime. Okay, so let's start that second part of this organizational structure. So first there are the difference between the line and functional organizational structure. So line organization and functional organization. In the line organization, authority. So responsibility flow in the linear direction. As we learned in the last video lecture session that in the line organizational structure, they have to given the direction and the given the authority according to the level of the organization. Means CEO given the authority to manager, then manager given the authority to their subordinate, right? And in the functional they have to responsibility flow as per the functional requirement, means according to their requirement of the work they have to divide the authority. Second one is a unit of command can be maintained. In the line organization you can easily maintain the unity of command, but in the functional organization you cannot maintain it. I hope you remember that last video lecture session we discussed that in the functional organization all the member have to responsibility and accountability regarding the all over the department, right? At that time they have to sometimes create the miscommunication because the different subordinate have to report the different HODs. So at that time it's create the some functional problems and it's create the unity of command. We have to not maintain the unity of command in the functional organizational structure. Then is a strict discipline can be maintained because there are the higher authority, then after the lower level authority. Okay, so if any mistakes are created, then we can say obviously they have to detect it and given the right action, and they have to be also given the punishment and penalties. So it's a strict disciplines created and maintained in the line organization, and here discipline is a comparatively weak regarding this line organization. Line manager are the generalized and the lacking the specialized decision making, and here there are the functional manager as specialists but lack in the general management approach, because here they have to be a general management and here they cannot doing the general management in the functional organization. Then routine procedure are adopt and the lacking in the research and innovation, because they have to follow the strict organizational structure is strictly follow that, and it's a rigidity, and it's we are called that line organization is a traditional organization, right? But here they are doing the new innovation research, and they have to adopt the new research and innovation. That's why, and this functional organization is applicable nowadays. Then integration and the coordination become easy, because in the line organization all the, we can say that authority responsibility is pre-decided, and we can say that delegation is pre-decided. So here there are the less conflicts are created, and you can maintain the good relation between the employer and employee, and it's create the good coordination between them. Then integration and coordination become here complex, because different subordinate have to report the different HODs. It's sometimes it's created the lack of coordination between them. Then second difference between the line organization and line and staff. Simple structure with the clear authority and the responsibility relation in the line organization you can identify. Here complex structure with the ambiguity in the authority and the responsibility manner. You cannot identify the proper authority in the line and staff structure. Second one is a less employee requirement, since a line manager control the shows the no duplication of human resource. Here one superior authority have to be a control all over the organization, at that time they have to be a maintain the control in the organization. It's create the less duplication in the human resource. Here more employee are required because the duplication of human resource are required, because they have to be required the higher staff. Then third one is the benefit of the generalized is a line manager, but is a lack of specialist, because in the line manager they have to be a specialist in the particular that department only. They cannot have the new skills and knowledge regarding the all over the general department, so they cannot have the benefit regarding the specialization. Here in the line and staff, benefit of the generalization as well as a specialist in the management, so they have to be a control all over the management very easily, very comfortably. Then higher discipline and the better coordination we can create it in the line organization. And here frictional between the line and staff members, so sometimes create the conflict between them. Then routine procedure with the no trust for the research and innovation. Here in the line organization they cannot create the new innovation, they have to only follow the rigidity, whatever they have to decide they have to follow their rules and regulation. They cannot adopt any new research and innovation in their organization. Then research and innovation are to be exercised in the line and staff organization. So it's very important, because without new innovation our organization cannot stay in the competitive market, right? Then after second topic is the span of control. The span of control is related to the number of subordinate and accountable to the one superior. So the smaller span of control is says to be a 2 or 3 subordinates, and more will be a scalar like 7 to 8 link. So a structure will be shown in the figure. Here you see that in the conversely we can say that if a span of control there are the larger than 7 to 8 subordinate, then the scalar chain is to be less than 3 to 4 link. So here structure will be a flat, as you see here, tall structure and a flat structure. Small span of control means here one subordinate, we can say that one superior have only two subordinate, and two subordinate have to be a two subordinate, right? So here you have to find the tall structure and the flat structure. If a one subordinate have to be a we can say superior authority for the more than 4 and 5, we can say subordinate, at that time they have to be a large span of control, and then our organization is to be created as the flat structure. Here our structure will be a tall. Okay, if there are the less span of control, and here there are the higher span of control, larger span of control. Then after, what are the factors affecting the span of control decision? How many subordinate will be there under the control of one superior is determined by the many factors. So control would have to state that number of subordinate under the one superior should be range between the 4 to 12, means maximum 4 to means maximum 12 and minimum 4 you have to allot the one superior. So depend upon the various determination of the span of control is an important determination as under. First one is the competence of the superior, means if a superior is enough capable to handle the more than subordinate, more than 12 subordinate, then you can easily give them. Okay. Then second one is the competence of the subordinate. Competent subordinate is to be a distribute less to be a superior, and thus is unable superior to be a handle the more subordinate. Means if our subordinate is capable, so our subordinates are capable to doing the activity in a particular manner, then you cannot assign the subordinate to them. Okay. Then nature of work. In the case of repetitive work, more subordinate can be handled by the one superior. Similarly, in the case of innovative work is assignment also, one superior can handle the more subordinates. So our nature of work, if repetitive work, then you should assign the higher superior to the subordinate. Then means of communication. If a subordinate are communicable on the telephone or the electronic media, then one superior can handle the more number of superiors. Okay. So communication method is also important. Then you can easily contact with your subordinate. Then there are the less requirement of superior. Then physical distance between the superior and the subordinate longer, and the distance more subordinate can be handled through the delegation of authority is a management by the exception. Similarly, in the case of the nearness also, one superior can handle the more than subordinate. Okay, so according to the physical distance you can measure, you can analyze, and you can assign the superior and subordinates. Then leadership style. In the case of autocratic style, there are the frequency of meeting of a subordinate with the superior is so high. So less subordinate are emblem to handle. So however issue is standard and the instructions can be enabled to the handle more subordinate by the single autocratic leader. If our leadership is autocratic style, so you can handle more than subordinate at the one time. So according to the styles of leadership, you should develop the span of control. Then the second topic is the departmentation, and which departmentation topic is asked in the GTU examination winter 2017. So departmentation is refers to the breakup of the organization in the some scientific basis. You can divide your organization in the scientific basis. A department is an organization unit that is head by the manager who is responsible for this activity. It should be noted that the departmentation has the higher management level and the managerial activity. So it should be noted that the departmentation have to be a we can say reference, that the division of work and the lower level operational reference. Departmentation is to be divided for the whole organization into the smaller, we can say that justification and the activity and judicial authorities. So will be division of the labor is the break of the activity for the smaller task and the operation. You have to divide department because you have to divide your organization into department to take the right activities at the right time, and you can analyze the activity particularly. That's why you have to divide your organization. So the basis of departmentation, first one is a business center, like parent company, subsidiary company, division, branch, section. So it's considered as the business center. According to the business, you have to divide your department. Like in the banking sector, you should know that from Bhavnagar, our SBI, right? So SBI State Bank first branch is a parent branch, or we can say main head office are stated at the Nilambag. Okay. Then there are the various types of, we can say, branches are at the different regional areas. So why they have to divide this? Because there are the smooth running of the transaction and easily understand the activity, easily take the transaction at the right time. Second one is the activity center, like project, program, etc. For the project, you have to divide your department. For the program, particular program, you have to divide. Then functional center means production, marketing, finance, and HR. For the particular function, you have to develop the new department, and according to that, you have to given them the work. Then authority and the responsibility center, expense of this cost center, revenue center, profit center, and the investment center. According to that, you have to given the authority and the responsibility and divide the department. Departmentation and the division of labor have some commonalities. However, the technical both of there are difference. As noted the earlier, that the divisibility refers to the segmentation of the organization on the some specialization basis, and the division of labor is divides on the activity. Means organization you have to divide on the specialized basis, means the division of labor is divided on their activity. In the many task and subtask sub-activity, both emphasize on the use of the specialized knowledge, but departmentation has the higher management level is a strategical consideration, while they have to divide this particular department in the labor has the lower level operating considerations. Under the principles of division of labor, they have to task allocated for the different people. Thus, the job is completed through the many people and doing the small task of the job as per their skills and expertise. For example, in the machine shop is a different worker are operating in the different machines. A job may to be a require for the turning, milling, drilling, and the trapping. So all these operations are done on the job by the different people. There are the division of work is ensured that the perfection in the small task is done to be repeatedly by the same worker, and thus is to ensure there are the higher productivity. For their higher productivity, if any person have the skill and knowledge, then they have to divide their work according to their skills and knowledge. So we can easily doing the small tasks in the particular manner, and we can achieve the target as early as possible. Both department and the division of the labor is necessary to interdependently of the person of the activity for attain for the some common goal. Thus, the coordination and the cooperational and the integration become imperatively for the effective and efficient use of the resources. For the highly use of these resources, we have to divide this particular work in the labor work. The management philosophy of the departmentation and the division of labor is considered that the ability of any person to limit it to extent for this physical, biological and the psychological, you have to divide according to that. Psychological setup thus become the necessary to divide the huge task of modern management and the technological development on the some scientists or the technical basis. It ensures that the better performance of the work and create the physically pleasure and person performing task and added the advantage of this departmentation and the division of the labor is the use of the human resources with the synergy advantage. Advantage means you can doing the particular synergy means what means if any person is expertise in the particular skill, then you have to take this advantage for this person for your particular organizational goal. So you can do this activity through this departmentation. Synergies refers to the total value work with the higher than the sum of the work is done by the individual efforts. 2 plus 2 is always greater than 4. Okay. Means if any one person are working for this at the task, so if you assign a 2 worker there and you can get the higher productivity, right? So it's you can consider the synergy benefit means total value is higher, you can easily do this from this departmentation. Then after centralization of authority. So this question is asked in GTU examination winter 2018 and 19. So analyze the organization structure. There are the medium of scales and industry in the context of this centralization means what? So the medium of scale industry as defined as under the Micro Small Medium Enterprise Act in 2006 in India is judged on the following criteria as per the revised definition. The criteria for the manufacturing unit is the total investment for the service unit is turnover is under. So here they have to divide the companies and the organization in the three level micro, small and medium. Micro means what? If any firm invest up to the 5 crore rupees is called as a micro category and turnover for the service sector up to the 5 crore. Small between the 5 crore to 75, 5 to 75. 75 crore to 250, 75 crore to 250. So it's considered as the medium scale organization. The small scale units have to sizable investment. Generally, they have to manage the sole proprietor. If your organization is small, then you can manage your investment finance from your own, like from partnership firm, Hindu Undivided Family, HUF, etc., which are to be a non-corporate firms and also corporate firm like the private limited company. So according to the micro, macro and medium level, you can doing the investment, and if your micro level you have to working, then your authority is centralized, but as and when your organization is developed, you have to doing the decentralization because you cannot doing all the work at that time. Okay. Generally, such medium sector units is managed under the line type organization and the number of employees are generally does not exceed from the 100 because there are the small size sector, right? Then under this structure there are various managers like the production engineer, marketing manager, finance manager, human resource manager are employed along with the some service engineers. So below there are the manager, they have to be a departmental supervisor are appointed, and below from there are the large number of operators are working. So it's considered as the line organizational. Then the CEO means Chief Executive Officer or the Managing Director is to be a owner of the firm, and their to authority to are centralized in a such a one person in the family member is to be a head who have to look for the whole company, and he delegate very little authority and a function to manager and supervisor. Such medium-sized companies do not appoint the staff, expert and the profession because they are the medium-sized firm, and in the case of need they have to be preferred to concern on the basis of outsourcing. Outsourcing means what? Outsourcing means they have take the new knowledge and advantage from the outing firm, which is the cheaper and convenient and time based, so they can take the expertise knowledge from the outside firm. Then after Thus, there have to be a line type organization which is followed by the such medium organization. In the critically is discussed in the type, in the organizational type, and the other aspect is to centralize authority is discussed in the following paragraphs. Okay. Then what are the advantage of this centralization and disadvantage of this centralization? Then uniformity decision you can take if your worker or if your we can say targets are already decided, then you can easily take the decision, centralized authority. Second one is a moderate quality of decision, you can take the decision at the time. Quick decision you can take because you cannot get any suggestions and collaboration with the other. No duplication of resources. Fifth one is effective planning, directing and controlling you can then. High degree of discipline you can maintain in your organization. Effective fulfillment of the higher level of objective. High level of the flexibility and the quick adjustment changing in the business environment, because central authority because you have the central authority, you can take the decision according to your own experience and knowledge. What are the disadvantage? Absence of deep and mature decision, because one person take the decision at that time according to their skill and knowledge, he or she take the decision. So it's created sometime a unmature decision. Lack of valuable professional advice, because you cannot take the advice from the other experts. Low morale due to the work oriented leadership, because here subordinate are considered as a line organization. So in the line organization, subordinate feel the tension, and we can say sometimes they have to be frustrated because a higher authority continues watch on them. Lack of participation of managers, so talented people do not prefer to serve such a unit because they cannot respect in the particular department, so they cannot doing the work in that. Traditional working system is absence of a use of creative and innovative manager. Then low morale, then exploitation of worker and the job dissatisfaction, because they have to continuous watch on them, they have to be provide the penalty, and sometimes penalties provided them if they cannot do the work at the appropriate time. So it's a one type of exploitation and job dissatisfaction of them. Traditional management fails to manage this competitive environment. Okay. Last topic is the functions of organization. First one is to identify various functions to arrange them as per the relative importance at the top, middle and lower level management. You have to identify the function, what are the function of them, and you have to organize this. Second one is to fill up the various position through the recruitment, selection, training and placement. Third one, to delegate the formal authority and assign the formal responsibility according to the level of organization's management. Then to promote the manpower and regulate activity through the manager, you have to promote them, you have to give them the motivation and also doing the regulation on them. To evaluate the structure periodically and to redesign as per the changing environment. You cannot follow the rigidity, you can also redesign according to the requirement of the competitive market. Okay. So thank you very much. Here our chapter number 7 completed. So now in the PEM subject there are 2 units are remaining, chapter number 8 and chapter number 9. Then our PEM subject will complete. So if you don't watch the if you don't watch the video lecture, you should watch video lecture regularly. And if you find any query, you can ask me anytime. Thank you very much.